Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Ivan here. Uh, this is the deck that I took to locals today. I decided to play something different than my Subterra Guru deck because honestly it was getting kind of boring. I've been playing the deck for at locals at least a month, and I just started noticing like the limitations of the deck and like stuff like that. Because like honestly, if you open up a certain hand like with multis, you could just win, but it was just really boring, like having to grind out stuff and kind of always having to be wary about time. Because I noticed that a lot of the games that I was playing were going to like, time, or I ended up tying a lot because we ended up just getting one game each. So I decided to play something a little bit different. This is probably like, honestly, behind Girgia, I think this is my favorite deck of all time. I really love Girgia. Girgia was the first deck that I honestly got really into, that I bought a bunch of the stuff. Karakuri Girgia was the first deck that I ever top locals with. I don't know, to some people that's kind of like, oh, whatever, it's just locals. But I've never been to regionals. I've never been to YCS. So that's like, not, I wouldn't say like the biggest accomplishment, because there's been like other stuff where like I top like Yu-Gi-Oh! Day and stuff like that. But it's not anything too crazy. I just, I'm honestly just like I like playing the card game with my friends from locals. I wanted to just start doing like a vlog type thing, like going to locals that I've seen that a couple of other people have done. But my locals no longer lets you record inside the store because some guys were being honestly dickheads, and they were recording people and like making memes out of it and making videos of it, and it just got old. And they were just sharing it in between a group of friends, and somebody found out about it and they told the person who owns the store about it, and it became like a whole huge thing. And like those dudes got banned for like a couple of weeks, but now they're back, and like they just decided it'd be better just to not let anybody record in the store. And because of stupid people like that, it just ruined the idea for the you know series that I wanted to do. But whatever, I'm just gonna get into the deck profile because I've been rambling on for too long. It's obviously ABCs. It's my second favorite deck of all time. 3A Assault Core, 3B Buster Drake, and 3C Crush Wyvern. I can't ever see myself playing less than 3 of all of them because they're just so good. Whenever we get Needle Fiber, I think it's next year, or if I think that Union card is probably gonna be in there too. This deck's just gonna get better. Hopefully, it doesn't mean that it gets hit on the list again like it did before, where A went to 1 and pretty much just killed the deck. They could hit Union Hanger, but I don't think they will. I think they just leave it the way it is because this deck's good, but it's not broken. 2 of each gadget. I just think these cards are just too good. They have great synergy with the deck. I just can't see myself playing the deck without it. And for hand traps, I'm playing 3 Ash Blossom because it's the best hand trap, I think. 3 Veiler. This is like the going second version of the deck. I guess this is what people are calling it. But I don't have Evenly Matched, and I don't have Infinite Impermanence. So this is what I'm playing at the moment. And then last but not least, 2 Nibiru. This card just wins you so many games because you can just eat the big token that you give them. You can get rid of it so easily with your Buster Dragon. It's not even funny. A lot of monsters. Then for the spells, since this is the golden second version, I'm playing 3 Mind Control. I can't see this card being at 3 for too much longer. I honestly think probably like the next list they'll hit it to like 1 or 2. It's just too good at the moment, like being able to steal monsters. And I know cards like Nibiru exist, but this card's just as good sometimes. 3 Call by the Grave, because there's nothing worse than getting Ash Blossomed or Veilered or Ghost Ogre, stuff like that. Just really hurts this deck a lot. You just need your plays to go through, and this ensures that you do. 3 Union Hanger, probably like one of the best field spells ever created. This card's just really dumb. The fact that it's been allowed to be, especially here in the TCG, at 3 for so long is just crazy. Now the CG, I think it was like for the longest time at 2. And then the Terraforming, I'm surprised they finally hit Terraforming after a while. Then I decided to play a Sky Striker engine. I just realized that in the going second version, it's just really good. Well, the only thing that kind of sucks is I'm not playing enough spells to take advantage of like the secondary effects of the Sky Striker cards. So like, it's super rare that I get to draw the card off this. Most of the time I just use it to make the token, just to have the free monster out there, and to get like pretty much 2 monsters out. Because Hornet Drones is a really good card. I remember when this card was at 3, I used to play this deck with 3 Hornet Drones. And I didn't have Engage, because back then Engages were like $80. But I would play 3 Hornet Drones, and the deck ran really well back then with that. And then 1 Widow Anchor. Widow Anchor at 1. It's still really powerful, but I don't know, I don't know what to feel about it at the moment, because you don't get that great effect of like being able to go in second version. I guess it's a lot better because you can negate something like a Vanity's Fiend or some random card like that, but you don't get to take it like you would you know, if you're playing just like regular Sky Striker. Then 2 Pot of Desires. The guy that won my Yu-Gi-Oh! Day on Saturday, he has a YouTube channel that he's usually one of the better players, because he almost always tops every locals. And he was playing this in Sky Striker, and he was just talking about how so many of the good Sky Striker cards are at 1, but sometimes just being able to have that +1 with just Pot of Greed with this is just so good, because it just helps you so much. It helps you get to your combo cards. It helps you get to the cards that will actually win you the game, instead of just worrying about, oh, the next turn or something like that. Just worrying about what's happening at the moment. And I really like that logic, so that's why I decided to play the 2 Pot of Desires again. I know it's pretty much staple back in the day, but this card's just not as good as it used to be, because Ash Blossom's everywhere now because it's so cheap. And back in the day, you were really almost gonna always resolve this all the time. 1 Upstart Goblin. I couldn't figure out the 40th card because I didn't want to play Foolish Burial anymore, because I noticed that it just wasn't that good. And I was playing like Destrudo Engine before, but that just limited what I could play in the extra deck, because I had to put in cards just for Destrudo, like Synchros. And I noticed that giving up half your life points, which is 4,000 life points, is a lot. So I decided to just cut out the Foolish Burial, and I cut out the Destrudo and put an Upstart Goblin in. And then for the last card, Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn. It's a really good extender. It can just win you games by itself because it's just so crazy. See, for the main deck, it's 40 cards. Then for the extra deck, of course, your 3 Big Daddy. This card's probably one of the best boss monsters ever created in this game. 3,000 attack, can banish a card on either player's turn, and it can tag itself out to bring back the pieces, which will allow you to summon back stuff. And ever since Lynx became a thing, this card just became so much better, because it's just so much easier to make. Except when Ancient Fairy Dragon got banned, that kind of sucked, because that card just had so many great combos with this deck. Playing 2 Sky Strikers. I'm playing the 1 Hayate and the 1 Kagari. Kagari is all automatically going to be staple in any Sky Striker, you know, engine. And I decided to play Hayate because there was just random times where I was finding myself needing to do like damage without, you know, going over a monster or something like that. And just being able to attack directly just wins you the game sometimes. 1 Underage Clock Taker. I needed a generic Link 2 because of Mind Control and because of Widow Anchor. And I decided on Underclock Taker because I don't have the Cyframe card. I think the Cyframe card's probably better, but I'm not playing Gammas, so it's kind of not better. So I just decided on Underclock Taker because I almost never use the effect, but it's just good for having that Link Arrow. Then I'm playing the 1 Nightmare Phoenix, just for those random times you have to get rid of stuff like there can only be one, and just random cards like that, because those cards just really hurt you. Then Cleefort Genius. This card is also good against There Can Only Be One. You can negate like your Union Hanger that you've already used, and then you can negate There Can Only Be One. But it is not generic. Needs 2 machine monsters, and this card's really good against Sky Strikers too, because it's just unaffected by all their cards. Then Platinum Gadget, it's just a great extender, lets you make a bunch of crazy plays, and then when it dies, you get a gadget back. Then Nightmare Phoenix, it's the only Link 3 I'm playing. I kind of wanted to play a Decode Talker, but I just couldn't find any space, so I decided just to not play it. Then Boros Sword Dragon and Skull Dread. I kind of don't like this card too much because I almost never get to use the draw 4 effect. Most of the time when I do, it's just irrelevant or it's just a win more card. So I might be taking out for Borreload or for Nightmare Griffin, which I just think is a better card in this build. Then for the Exceeds, the number 60, whatever, the Timeless, this card's dumb. It's just better than Bujite Tsukuyomi because it's generic, just 2 level 4 monsters. It has 3 crazy effects that are all really good, and they can all win you the game. Just being able to draw an extra card, being able to double your monster's attack, and what's the other one? You get to summon a monster from your graveyard, but that's not really relevant. Then Tornado Dragon and Abyss Dweller. I decided to play Tornado Dragon because at my locals there's a bunch of True Draco players, and I just really hate that deck, and I wanted to have something that I can make. And like first turn, I think this is like the best card against True Draco. You can pop their diagrams before they can pop their stuff. Then for the side deck, the third Nibiru, because it's Nibiru and you need to play it. 3 Lancia, because I hate Thunder Dragons, because I hate Orcus. 3 Pancatrops. A lot of lists are actually like maining these, but I just didn't want to. I'd rather have these for like game 2. If like people side in, there can only be ones, and just cards like that can hurt you. 3 Twin Twisters. Twin against the back row decks. Same thing with Red Reboot for evenly matched, and those stupid cards like that, they just win you the game. Just pretty much stops them from winning. And then I'm playing the 1 Skill Drain and the 1 Imperial Order. These two I'm kind of iffy about because they're one-ofs, but most of the time if you see them early enough, you can just win the game off them, because Skill Drain's just broke in this deck. Because the way it works is like, if you have this guy out, you activate his effect, discard a card, you can banish a card, then you attack him out, because Skill Drain doesn't negate that, because it's going to be in graveyard when the effect resolves. So you still get to banish a card, and you get your 3 pieces out, and your 3 pieces are like pretty big. They're 1800, 2000, and 1900 in their highest attack or defense form. So that's just really good. And Imperial Order is just always good in this deck, because honestly the spells don't really matter, because during your turn is when you use all your spells, and then your opponent has to try to get over your board, which most of the time is just going to be a bunch of monsters. So yeah, that's it for the deck profile, guys. I didn't do too well today because I just drew bad matchups. I lost first round to Orcust. I just really dislike that deck, and it's just so cheap how they make such cheap advantage. But I didn't draw any of my outs, and I had a really bad hand first game. Then second round, I played against Heroes. I beat that because he just kept drawing like bricky hands, and I just had like Dash Blossom, and or had the Veiler all the times. Like he's played for A Hero Lives. He summoned out Stratos. I Veilered it. He passed turn. My turn. I put up a bunch of monsters, ended it with like Dragon Buster, and like I forgot what Link monster I summoned with, and that was just enough for damage, enough damage for game right there, because I banished the Stratos, attack for 3000, and then the other one, I think it was Underclock Taker actually. Underclock Taker attack for 1000, that's just game right there. So yeah, then the third game I got a bye for some reason, I guess because like a bunch of people were already out of it, so they just decided to drop. Then fourth game I played against Spellbooks, not Spellbooks, I'm sorry, against the Pendulum deck, and I just got railed because he blew out a bunch of negates, and I didn't have any cards that were outs. Kind of makes me want to play the Dark Ruler No More in the side deck, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't want to have that one card just for that one matchup, you know. But I got too old pretty quickly, actually, because like I decided to let him go first again, game 2, which was just a stupid mistake. And he freaking just summoned a bunch of dudes again. The stupid Nightmare Cerberus, no, not Nightmare Cerberus, the Jackal, and I couldn't get over it because I don't play Kaijus, which I kind of want to now. But yeah, that's it for the deck profile, guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, it's your boy Ivan. See you guys later.